this is Max. I'm the founder of Digital Scarcity and a team member of the Telos Kitchen block producer and development team. The purpose of this video is to illustrate the login with Telos feature that we've developed. I'm going to show it to you using this open source markdown software that we've installed at docs.telos.kitchen. It's called CodeMD. It's edit with a side-by-side preview, publish of markdown, supports real-time collaboration, slide mode, some other features. It's very lightweight, very easy to use, and I found it to be super useful. So a little bit about how this works is that we have implemented a Telos compatible OAuth provider. So it allows the user to authenticate using their Telos account without having to worry about saving a username and password, directly with the application. And this uses OAuth. So if you've ever been to a site that you haven't visited before and you have an option to log in with Google or log in with GitHub or Facebook or some other social media account that you have, it's likely going to be based off of OAuth. And we have implemented a similar provider, except instead of using those social media networks, it's using Telos Network. A little bit about CodeMD's permissions. It supports a number of different options, I guess 6 different options, where the owner of the document has access. Then there's a level where the signed in user can have access to either read or write. And then there's a third one for guests, which would just be anyone on the web that is accessing this link, not necessarily someone who's logged in. So we'll illustrate a couple of these. So I'm currently not logged in, meaning I have the sign in button here. So what I'm going to do is choose to sign in, and here I'm going to sign in with Telos Network. I was previously logged in as someone else. I'm going to log in directly as one of the users I've created, and I'm using the Google Chrome plugin for authentication. But you can see here this works with essentially it's running the universal authentication library that was originally developed by Block One and is on the OAuth GitHub account. And it's compatible with lots of different wallets or signers, but that's the one that I'm going to use for this demo. So first I click OAuth and it asks me to allow for it to access. Let's refresh this here. May have had an issue with my account. There we go. Okay, so now it's accessed that. Please select an account. I'm going to log in first as Alice. And here it asks me to sign in, and I'm signing in, or I'm processing a transaction with eosio.login contract. It does ask me for my password. So I'll paste that. And perfect. So now I'm logged into CodeMD as alice.tk. I can sign out, export all of Alice's data, delete the user, and so forth. There are a couple documents in here that I've created already. Let's take a look at this one. This was a private note that is only accessible by Alice. Here's the owner is the only account that can change the permissions. And this is how Alice would do that. I am going to copy this link because later I'm going to try to access it from a different account to illustrate that it is secure. So we'll go back here. There's also a protected note. I'll copy this one as well. Okay. So I'll just show you a little bit about how the editing works. Check it's protected. Okay, this one I think is going to be different actually. It is not, it's only the owner can edit. So it can be viewed by anyone that is logged in, but only editable by Alice. And that's obvious because I'm logged in as Alice and I'm editing it. And we'll show, I'll log out of all the accounts, and I'll show that a logged out account is unable to access it as well. Okay. So we'll go back here. Now I'm going to log out as Alice, and I'll sign in as Bob. Change accounts. Giving me a little issue here. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. Select an account, Bob. And again, I'm signing a transaction to eosio.login. Again, the password. Again, this is the password for this Chrome plugin. If I were using, Squirrel doesn't prompt you to enter a password to sign a transaction, so we would skip that step if we were using Squirrel or Scatter or some other wallet. Okay, great. I'm logged in as Bob now. There's a private Bob note. Private. Once I'm in here, you can kind of do the side by side or just the editor. File, and we'll go back here. So what I'm going to do now is I'll open up, go to a separate tab, and I'll go back to I'll first show the protected document. Great. Protected note by Alice. So I will now try to edit this note when I'm logged in as Bob. And you can see it doesn't let me type anything there, which is perfect. Exactly what we expected. Now let me also try to access the private one. So the private one I shouldn't be able to access at all. Perfect. So it's forbidden now because I'm logged in as Bob trying to access Alice's private note. Okay, great. So that's in a nutshell how this works when it's how the login with Telos works using the OAuth provider that we've deployed. Now let's take a quick look at what's happening on chain. This is on the Telos mainnet, and you can get an idea here of the transactions that are occurring. So the OAuth provider provides a code to Bob as part of the transaction that gets signed and put on chain. And there's some additional manifest ID and other information that is posted as well in a separate action. And the OAuth provider then looks on chain to determine that Bob is in fact both the person that is using the application as in the session, as well as the person in the account that signed the transaction. To summarize, we've built a platform that will secure applications and data, any applications and data supporting OAuth with your Telos account. We believe that the securing data and applications with your blockchain account, specifically your Telos account, is actually a preferred user experience over having to remember or otherwise store, a myriad of email addresses and usernames and passwords and 2FA numbers and all the other things that come along with authentication. And so we really wanted to enable this so that any application such as CodeEMD, there's also some social media, Mastodon, other platforms that we could integrate with that support OAuth. And of course, soon we will be able to log in using WebAuthn, YubiKey, and that will just make things easier and easier. So the user may not even need to install the Chrome plugin or Squirrel or other wallets. They would just be able to sign the transactions for OAuth directly with their YubiKey. So let us know if you have any questions. Give it a shot. Head over to docs.telos.kitchen. Log in with your mainnet Telos account. Create some documents. I'll in the show notes or on the Telos homepage, the Telos Kitchen page, I will post a link to the public, private, and protected pages so that you could test those as well. All right, this is Max with Digital Scarcity and Telos Kitchen. Let us know if you have any questions.